Good morning. So, doing my prep here this morning, you had a bit of a move here in Globex in the Euro session, about mid Euro session here, where you effectively just balanced out failure to get the all-time high, and then they flushed it out, down below both yesterday's low and the previous Globex's low as well. So, minor change has occurred already, but this has happened so often where market really just flushes into some sort of supportive area, at which point, they're able to find a new buyer, get rid of the weak-handed buyers, find another buyer down below, and these type of V-shaped recoveries, begin to happen. So as I'm watching this, 75 here in the Globex session had some pretty strong absorption on the way down. They tried to absorb the seller. And then on the way up, they tried to absorb the buyer. So that wants to be that's being creating into a level that I need to monitor coming in today as well. 80 being another level that I want to monitor, but not so much trade off of, just see how we respond around them and how the orders come into it. For me coming in today, potentially any move towards 4,300, I kind of want to be on the short side or look to be on the short side, depending on the tempo and pace. Likewise, with Globex being where it is now, I would like to see if I want to get, excitedly short, we would have to break below the 80 level, maybe below that 75, and come somewhere in between there to fade that opportunity. As far as the buying goes, if we open and can't break that 75 early, or get just below it 74, somewhere where my risk can be brought in against Globex's low, that's kind of a trade I want to make sure that I'm on, and just see if it's going to, work out for me or not as far as moving this up. It is the end of quarter, so, the potential is there for some tape painting. So you may get some misinformation from kind of orders coming in and the ability to see trapped or buyers or sellers on the DOM. So being a bit cautious today isn't really a bad idea either. Looking at NQ, NQ's pushed up into that 600 area, kind of been beating that area to death here on the last few morning preps, as far as it's the top of that, trend line area I was interested in being short against. It happened in the Globex session, so I actually didn't get a trade on with it, but nonetheless, that's taken place now. So, if I am to monitor to get long, potentially I want to get long somewhere, below these lows here. There's a lot of lows pinned together with, a potential of a stop run firecracker type effect taking place, as far as, the lows from the 28th, which was a 45 degree at the time, trapping shorts. There's going to be buy stops there. There's going to be buy stops below the Globex and then buy stops below yesterday's low. So trading against that, I mean, that's about as obvious as quote unquote support gets, but keep in mind, if you are trading against that, you are going to potentially be part of that stop run, because your stop's going to be placed where everybody else's is. Ideally, early on in NQ, you want to hold Globex's low, if not just barely get below it into the 520s, 515 areas against the 500 number, and then see if that will hold. On the short side, if a continued failure against 600 or 610, 615, somewhere in that range may potentially bring in a short. But again, similar to ES, you have to take into account that it is quarter end, so you're going to be playing with, some significantly bigger players today. R2I. So I took this trade in R2I early this morning. It's a great trade. They pushed it right down into support. This is kind of what we're used to seeing, right? They push the market aggressively into support. Buyer steps in and gives you an opportunity with very good risk reward to step in. So I've taken that trade. I've already gotten out of it when we failed an S period here against the half back. Looked like it was probably a good take in T, when T started to move this way, and then bit of a crazy rally there. But when I'm looking at R2Y, I am more short bias as long as we stay below 2320 area. A retest at 2320, or somewhere up to 2325, anywhere really against the 27 to 2330 area, which is where I would consider it to be resistance right now, as far as not being able to find a strong buyer above. I want to be short the market. I don't really have interest in getting long off this level again in R2I, but if we do come into it and the tape starts to print, I will, take that opportunity again. But more importantly, this is kind of playing out to what we've mentioned in the last few preps. As far as R2I just continues to lack a buyer, above the high side of this balance range that we're currently been trading in for quite some time, quite a few months actually. So looking to just trade this rotation for now and wait for the break to take place. And then at that point, take the break, whether it's to the up or downside. So that's kind of where I'm at today. As far as numbers go, really nothing that should jump out at you. There is, some stuff, of course, you're going to get, I guess ADP is already hit. But you're going to get the Chicago PMI and, like may have something, pending home sales, probably won't do much. There's big report coming out for grains today. So something, if you trade grains, I don't trade grains myself, but if you do, I would pay attention to that report, obviously. But with that being said, I would expect to see a little bit higher volume today. I think that would make the most sense. And I'll just let the market kind of guide me into areas I'm willing to do my business and just execute as planned and live with the results. So thanks for, jumping on here real quick. And I hope you guys have a great trading day, and we will see you again tomorrow.